What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Dom of X. I am, of course, your main host, comicreleases.com associate editor, and a thing that we are trying out to start off the brand new year. First time we've ever done a collaboration. Somebody I've been talking to for the last couple of months as to, could we actually do something about this nonsense? And I am joined with that particular sense of nonsense with my good friend, Kody Collects. How are you doing? Introduce yourself.
It's an absolute honor to be here, Dom. We've talking a lot on near mint condition, of course. He's kind of the our nucleus or whatever. We're always orbiting around Omar. But we decided to branch off on our own. We like talking so much. So I'm glad to be doing this collab. I think we're talking all the DC single issues for the solicits. And yeah, man, I'm just really excited to start off the year. And hopefully we'll be doing this every single month. So yeah.
For as long as we can right the ship. And for those who might not be in the know, this is the first episode, if you will, or the first iteration of the solicitation station. I typically put up some of these videos after the embargo releases because some people just want to see the full list. This is us talking about the in-depths and all the different parts of it, because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know if anybody, maybe to the 4,000 people or so who watch me, prefer listening to my dumb butt talking about these books individually, but I was like, wait, I want to talk about this with somebody because I just can't have the stupid single focus and one-eyed vision Cyclops E, if you will, even though he's my stupid favorite X-Men or whatever. That's why Kody's joining with me here, and I figured, you know what, this actually might be a fruitful thing for the both of us, and hand tell.
Absolutely. Because listen, we talk about all the collected editions on Omar's channel, right? But I know you and we read all the single issues. So listen, keep the collected. We're gonna keep the collected editions over there. I think, I don't know how many DC pulls you have, I guess typically, but I know on my side I read a ton of DC stuff, and I'm like you. I would love to get into the solicits just in more in depth because I cover them on my channel as they come out. For I discuss what my pulls are for that week. I do some comic reviews as well, but yeah, solicits are something that I've been looking to definitely get more in depth, man. So I'm excited to do it with you.
Let's go ahead and, yes, get this excitement started and kicked off with some of the new number ones that have been featured in the main batch of the Bachelors, and that is, of course, the brand new ongoing of Zatanna. I cannot believe that Zatanna is getting her own book back in full, the first ongoing since 2009 that we've had, of course, with Paul Dini and Stefan Rowe. Did you read, by any particular chance, the first Jamal Campbell series, and what are your thoughts on this?
So when that Jamal Campbell thing was coming out, my pull list was for DC was so big. I couldn't squeeze the Tana. I knew that this one was coming out as a mini as well. I guess I tend to stay away from minis or I trade weight them, right? But with this one being an ongoing series, I think my plan is to back up, read that trade from Jamal Campbell, and then just be ready for this ongoing. Definitely going to be adding this one to the pull. Like you said, Zatanna getting an ongoing series, just really exciting stuff. So even though I didn't read that Jamal Campbell stuff, what were your thoughts on it? Because I've heard really, really good things.
I love the art. I really, really do like Jamal Campbell. Ever since Naomi dropped with Brian Michael Bendis 6 years ago, I've always thought, like, this guy is going to be a powerhouse artist in the industry one day. I am just waiting for more fill-ins and more opportunities for him to excel. And I mean, since then, obviously, being on Superman with Joshua Williamson and
Yeah.
manufacturing plenty of hype there before he eventually left the book, I thought to myself, man, if he's going to go somewhere else, it's going to be on his terms. And lo and behold, this is definitely something that I think he wants to do on his own terms, but I'm really glad that DC is giving him the pathway to go ahead and do it.
Obviously, a character that Jamal Campbell loves working with, right? It just comes right across the page, right? And now we're mentioning Jamal Campbell. I know that we're talking single issues, but I do happen to have this Far Sector Deluxe Edition I just unboxed for my channel, just sitting beside me. So, yeah, Jamal Campbell just killing it.
Indeed. For again the viewers, this is the look at the main variant, or main cover, I should say, by Jamal Campbell. Adam Hughes. I hope that he does variants for every single issue. I freaking love his. I've always loved Adam Hughes covers. Ever since ever since I was introduced to him all the way back. He did some JLI back in the day. I'm not as old as JLI, but that is where I was first introduced to his art. Well, we also do have a variant here by Jorge Corona. He's been doing some of these next level pinups. And then Kyo Young Yom, I always butcher his name when I do these videos, but that is his variant right there. And
cool stuff.
Yeah, indeed. And if we move on to the next particular title, this is Jeff Lemire and Rafael de la Torre on a Firestorm ongoing too. The Fury of Firestorm, which is going to be set in Bedford, Colorado, and the first Firestorm ongoing we've had since the 80s, which is a pretty insane thing to say. But 40 years out, we now have a Firestorm ongoing.
Crazy stuff. Jeff Lemire coming in hot. This is definitely comes across as a passion project. Just the way that Jeff Lemire is talking about it online so far. And I don't know too much about Firestorm, I'll be honest. I know, from the CW show, that's like as much as I know about Firestorm. And yeah, so I guess I know the basics. But yeah, just real excited to jump onto this Firestorm series. I'm a huge fan of Jeff Lemire, so this one definitely going to be added to the pool.
I think the one thing that partly hurts me is seeing that extra $1 on the price tag for the 32 pages. It's kind of like, it's like, I don't...
That's a worrying precedent, actually.
It is. We've seen Superman jump up to that $5 32-page model. We've seen books like Nightwing jump up. I hope that it doesn't do it for too much, but it's a Jeff Lemire, Rafael de la Torre, who was on Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil, and I also, if my mind remembers correctly, he was also on Tom King's Penguin series back.
That's right. I think that's right. And then doing a little bit of stuff on Jeff Lemire's other series, JSA. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe like 1 or 2 issues there.
I think he did a couple of fill-ins there. But he is now back on this full ongoing, and here is the main cover with colors done by Marcelo Maiolo. Here's a look at the variant cover done by Riley Rossmo. When Riley Rossmo hits, he does manage, I think anyways, to make some pretty good illustrations. Jorge Corona there on another pinup variant. And then, yeah, Jeff Lemire on a 1 in 25. If I had more money, I would definitely get this framed somewhere. It's nice Lemire art.
Yep, that's the one right there. But you're right. Yeah, the 1 in 25. Oh, dang. Okay, we'll see about that one.
We're trying to ruin Cody's wallets. Now, this is one that I was super surprised about. I just remember telling somebody, I think it was back yesterday morning, there should be one more little itsy bitsy news before the solicitations fully drop from embargo. And it's Jim Chung coming back on illustrations, the first time he's done so since Scott Snyder's Justice League, joining Jeff Loeb in a Batman Wonder Woman Truth one-shot taking place a little bit after Batman Hush, not to be, of course, confused with Batman Hush 2.
That's still coming, right? That's still they're working on it, or
something like that.
So they tell us.
Somebody please tell us. Do you have any thoughts on this particular one shot?
Not for me. Not for me on this one. I'm sure this one will be collected in a Hush reprint someday, and I don't know. I'll read it then, but might be skipping out on this one. Interesting. I didn't know the history behind the interior artist. That is cool seeing that return. Always cool seeing like the legends coming back, but maybe skipping out on this one. How about you?
I am probably going to skip out on buying the one shot. I will hopefully assume that if they do a Batman Hush 2 Absolute, I'm not talking about the single for anybody who's listening. I'm talking about this giant monolithic hardcover experience that I am pulling out from my bookshelf that DC has been doing for longer than the Absolute line. This is way larger than your typical comic book issue. So if you actually slide these over, you can see that it is much bigger in terms of the retrospective size, as my issue of Dark Patterns falls to the floor like a wimpy dog. But yes, I am very excited for this when it's collected. I probably won't be buying the single issue anytime soon. But maybe one that people might be interested in is a brand new 4-issue series done with Kevin Smith back in writing. Who would have known? After the Marvel DC one-shot, Kevin Smith decided to say, hey, I'm back and I want to do more comics. This time he's joined with Nick Pitara, who is a frequent Jonathan Hickman collaborator, and Eric Carrasco on the co-writing gig. What do you think of Bizarro's the year one, essentially, of the head-aching dialogue man himself?
So my question for this one is this a DC Black Label? Not that it matters too much, but Black Label projects tend to get me more interested, I guess. Just that, like, not being so beholden to DC continuity, giving the creators a little bit more freedom. I don't know if it matters for this one. I still think it might be one to pick up. I think Kevin Smith, like you're saying, coming back, that's really exciting. Bizarro is typically not my favorite, like you said, like character to read, you know what I mean, all the time. But yeah, this one I do have my eye on it. When Bizarro's written well, you know what I mean? So I'm curious to see Kevin Smith's take on it.
Yeah, I remember asking Gene Luen Yang a couple of years ago, because he wrote Bizarro in the Year of the Villain tie-ins for the Terrifics ongoing that he was on back in 2019, and Bizarro was the character assigned to him. He said that it was the most difficult character that he had to write, because you need to make the dialogue comprehensible for audiences, so that you're not just going, when he says I hate you, does he mean I actually love you, or does he mean no, I want to crush your soul? That being said, I'm happy that Kevin Smith's getting back into the scene of things. I just
His part in the crossover, the Batman Deadpool stuff was pretty solid. I thought that was a really good story. The Green Arrow and Daredevil
yeah.
stuff, so, yeah.
So, for anybody who is interested, again, Nick Pitara back on interiors. The first time I've seen him since Axe Wielder John, which is an original graphic novel that he himself had a hand in. And another interesting collaboration between plenty of different creators. This is the Mad About DC one-shot. And in the same fashion, blatantly written, of course, by the creators over at Bad, with a solicitation that reads just like you would for any Mad magazine. I have no idea what my full thoughts are on this, but we have plenty of cool creators like Fraction, Simone, Chip Zdarsky, Scotty Young, Jim Zub. Do you have any particular thoughts on Mad About DC?
I mean, Mad is like that classic comic institution, I guess you could say at this point, right? But I've never been one to pick up a Mad magazine, literally. This one is interesting, though. I think it's guest edited by Chip Zdarsky, so I'm sure it's going to be in some kind of fashion of his Chip Zdarsky news or whatever he would do, like the physical comics he was putting out, where he would include like just gag stuff, right? So it's almost the perfect project for Chip Zdarsky to lend his talents to. I guess it's interesting from the standpoint of Chip Zdarsky moving over to Marvel for the most part, but it is interesting to see him, still balancing and doing some DC stuff. But yeah. I think the Chip Zdarsky of it is like the biggest draw for me, but
yeah, we will have to see. I probably will skip out on the one shot, but I'll read it over at some point. And another issue that Omar will probably have more information on, where it will be collected, because DC is very much handling their case. And with this, Rick Veitch, I need to
yes, that's right.
Need to make sure that I get the pronunciation right for all of the callers listening in. Michael Zulli and Vince Locke on the illustrations. This is a 4-issue series, Black Label. And yes, this is going to cover the controversially talked about issue that was supposed to be published, where Swamp Thing meets Jesus Christ himself. I don't know how I feel necessarily about the concept of the story, but I suppose that the execution of it will have to be there for me to see it. That being said, they are making this 4 issues instead of the 1, with a to be decided on where this is specifically going to be and how it'll be collected.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I don't know, we've seen them sort of do this in the past, just giving past creators a shot at continuing their stories, or just inventive kind of add-ons to stuff, like I don't know, like they did an add-on to the Batman movie back in the day, or the Superman movies, right? Just comic book continuations of these stories, or just bringing back the creators to finish out their classic stuff. This one, I mean, I didn't read Veach's run. Do you know what I mean? So I guess this one, not necessarily for me, but maybe by the time this comes out, I could be a huge Veach head. I could be have read all this stuff. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Veach had spilling the blood of the lamb with this one, both figuratively and quite literally, apparently, with this book. So congratulations for all of the Veach heads. We're going to canonize that now as a sentence created by the one and only Kody Collects. So those are all of the new books that are coming out in the month of April 2026. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the next level books that are coming out in April of 2026, starting off with the second issue of Batwoman, and who better to do it than the man, or one of the men, who is responsible for, I think, creating one of the greatest comic book storylines of all time in Elegy, and that is Greg Rucka. And now, this is the second issue. We've got Master Slay. I have no idea who that character is because I have not read the first issue of Batwoman, but Jacob Kane is heavily involved in this. And are you excited for this issue of Batwoman?
So excited. This one out of the first batch of next level, like not including, because we know at this point, obviously the Firestorm series is coming out and stuff like that. I think in that first batch with the, to be talked about later in this episode, we're going to be talking about the Deathstroke and the third one, Lobo, right? So yep. Out of those three, it was definitely the Batwoman that has me most interested. Even if I've not read Batwoman Elegy, I have the compact that I have to, I'm planning on getting to before this one actually comes out. And just really cool seeing Greg Rucka coming back to a character he knows so well. Everyone talks so highly about his time on the character. So definitely excited about this one.
Yeah, if anybody has not had a chance to read Detective Comics 854 through 863, now is your time to get it, and it's only for $10. If you want a more beautiful display, you'll probably find the Batwoman Omnibus, which probably is out of print. The one with the infamous boot foot cover somewhere out there in the wild. Here's a look at some of the variant covers. Stepan Sajic, Jenny Frisson. I'll probably be picking up this cover, and Dustin Gwen on the famous Batman type watercolors. And yes, we alluded to this a little bit earlier. This is the second issue of Deathstroke, the Terminatoress. Tony Fleeks and Carmine Domenico. If anybody does not know who Carmine is, he has worked on Batman the Knight, some issues.
Underrated Batman the Knight, by the way.
Underrated, yeah. My favorite part of the Chip Zdarsky era, if you will, of Batman.
I'm not mad at that at all. I think I might agree with you. I like that.
But yes, Carmine Domenico, who's worked on that, Flash issues, and been a spectacular fill-in as wherever he has worked at. Now he is doing a Deathstroke ongoing series. As it's weird because I have many opinions about how bad Deathstroke is as a person and why he should never be exonerated. But I also speak as somebody who has the Deathstroke omnibuses, plural. Because he is so unfortunately integral to the Titans. And it does not seem like they are stopping with this. Seems like Fleeks and DG and Domenico have a story to tell for the mercenary who has a pretty broken life.
I'm with you. I'm not like a Deathstroke. I'm not a Deathstroke head, I guess you could say, right? So, yeah. I am a big fan of Carmine's work, though. That stuff in Absolute Batman I thought was really solid. Like the Absolute Batman Absolute Superman Year 1 kind of stuff. And yeah, Batman the Knight. So I do think that Tony Fleece is a good pick for a Deathstroke series. I think that for the Deathstroke heads, this might be a solid series, but not one that I'm jumping up and down for. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, this is not something that I am going to be first in line at, but if they ever get to 25 or 30 issues of this and they decide to make it a deluxe or a hardcover, my butt is going to be there to buy it because I am an idiot and I need Titans, everything related things and oversized. So anyways, here's a look at the main cover. We've also got a Tyler Kirkham unfinished variant, Gillum March on one of the lines, Dan Panacea, and then if you want the Kirkham one colored, that is the one for you. Now, here is one for maybe the fans of the Me You Love in the Dark, or if you're just a big fan of Scotty Young's writing, which I actually particularly happen to be a fan of his anyway. many ways. I really like all of his Image books more so than some of his art. Sometimes I don't mind the chibi heads, but I'm really glad that he's found a niche into the writing portion. And Jorge Corona, who took over handily in the pages of Transformers and also has worked on Scotty Young, or worked with Scotty Young, I should say, on plenty of titles together, is on the second issue of Lobo.
Yeah, yeah, well said. Just all around. I mean, their past works are solid. You mentioned I love that name drop of Me Love in the Dark. That's one of my favorites.
So
and
good.
yeah,
So
just
good.
great stuff in that Transformers title after Daniel Warren Johnson stuck more to the writing side of things. I'm just not same kind of thing. I'm not like I'm not a Lobo kind of guy just in general. It's not my that kind of like character archetype, I guess. Like if you got the chains coming in with the black leather, the pouches, those are typically not characters that I'm that attached to. Same kind of thing though. Scotty Young, Jorge Corona, their next collaboration. That's tricky. It's tricky if I'll be pulling this one. I guess I'll be waiting for. I think my plan for this and Deathstroke, maybe pull the first 3 and then see kind of how I'm feeling after that.
Yeah, I probably am in the same boat. But yes, if you want Jorge Corona's art, there is the main cover. We also have a couple of variants done here by Sweeney.
That's a stretch right there. It's like
yeah, Sweeney Boo, Lee Bermejo, who I did not expect to be on a Lobo variant at all, but there he is, and Tyler Kirkham. Yeah, I'm probably in the same boat. I am not the biggest Lobo guy. A couple of my friends are, but the big butchy man who has a really, really big gun and wields a chain, rides a motorbike.
cusses. Like, oh, that's sick, man. That's crazy. Like,
You know, maybe we could talk about this in a different episode, but if you ever get a chance to read 52 to see what he did to Starfire, I'll just say I'm not a fan of his character. But as we move on to the Absolute Universe, because this is where all of the money and all of the attention is placed in, we're going to start it off with none other than the main ticket himself, and that is Batman with Snyder and Dragotta back at it with the emergence of Absolute Scarecrow. As if most of these solicits have... man, it's just been every single big villain. You have new incoming waves of creators and different cover artists for sometimes even exclusive covers joining in on the fray, and Scarecrow is the next one to be a part of this beat.
man, oh man, this is exciting. I cannot help but smile whenever I talk about Absolute Batman. I'm just having a total blast with it. Dragotta back on the interior art. I guess maybe between now and then, maybe he jumps back on. But his interiors are just so sick. As someone who finished East to West last year for the first time, I'm such a Dragotta. I'm at the Church of Dragotta, bowing down, worshiping, because that's just so sick. And yeah, just the introduction to a new villain. Those are always fun. How they're handling the villain changes. I think they've all been pretty solid and kind of just logical, changes in this universe. Absolute Batman. What else can you say? Just ton of fun there.
This is if there is a man, I just remember being 11, 12, 13 again and reading Scott Snyder's Batman for the first time. I think he's finally captured that same spirit. I think once again as a writer, and also my experience as a reader. So congratulations, Scott, on unlocking core memories with brand new books that I had no idea would be so instrumental to.
Like the Bane stuff was so good. Like that's where like you're saying, that's where it kind of set in. It's like, all right, Dragotta and Scott Snyder, they're cooking. You just gotta let them cook for a little bit. Not that I dislike the Black Mask stuff. It was solid. It just was my, out of the first initial arcs for the Absolute Universe, I thought it was maybe the weakest. And yeah, they're just really rolling now. So yeah.
It feels like the theme of plenty of these titles. Second arc is like, oh, this is where we're gonna, pump the gas. And Rafa Sandoval and Jason Aaron still on Absolute Superman with issue number 18 with a brand new character arc called Reign of the Superman, not Reign of the Supermen to be precise. There, of course, a throwback to the popular Reign of the Supermen era of Superman in the 90s, where Clark Kent was not a thing because, of course, he died. So who else are you going to have take over in the book? And if this cover looks like anything to you. You know, like I had some reminiscent memories of Black Adam 2021 when I saw this cover for the first time. I don't know how you feel, Cody, but I'm like, it feels like it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that there. So wait, so this would be absolute Black Adam. We're sure it's not absolute Shazam, I guess. I don't know. I'm not like too, knowledgeable on that kind of take on it.
It says King Shazam, but for all I know, because it is the absolute universe, it could be anything else of the.
I got you. Like, yeah, what if in this universe, like Black Adam is the Shazam or whatever, right? Like,
exactly.
I got you. I got you.
So, consider me interested, Mr. Aaron. Anyways, Gerard Perel in a variant. We've also got Ben Oliver and Chris.
Ben Oliver, it's beautiful there.
It is a nice composition. I do like that.
Yeah.
I do like that. Also, another book that I love, Absolute Martian Manhunter, with reality and relationships crumbling. As if this book has already had enough of that, in my personal opinion. We have the 11th of the 12th issue. I'm really sad that this is the penultimate issue that's almost here at the end.
That's crazy.
But
what a journey, man.
We have weathered through this. I always have such nice things to say about Javi Robert, but gosh dang, man, he has not missed on any one of these covers in terms of the creativity.
Absolutely, 100%. One of my favorite, I guess, like behind the scenes looks from a creator, Javier Rodriguez was sharing his sort of process, and as he's sort of doing the layouts for both his interiors, but also the covers, he has in his mind what the colors are already gonna be. So like, even though it's like rough, super rough draft, no detail hardly at all, he has the colors exactly where he wants them to be. So from that stage, he's already thinking about like the end result and how it'll look on the page. It's just mind-blowing stuff. Javier Rodriguez is just on another level with this series. Sad to see him and Dennis Camp. It doesn't seem real that they're leaving the title. I gotta know what their next projects are immediately, like actually immediately once this ends, because we need Javier Rodriguez to stay doing DC stuff. You know what I mean?
I agree. And he worked on Alex Ewing on Defenders. Obviously, Alex Ewing, who we'll get a chance to talk about a little bit later. He is, in terms of like just the way that his panels are constructed, it's next level stuff. No pun intended. And I really hope that DC manages to keep Javi for the long run on whatever book that he wants to work on with whatever creator he wants to work on.
Oh, yeah. Don't let this guy go, man. Do not let go of this guy.
Do not let this guy go. We've also got a couple of variants here from Dave Johnson and Werther Del Era on
one of the series with the best variant covers, like without a doubt. You could literally go through Absolute Martian Manhunter and collect every single variant cover, and there's hardly any misses. Honestly, it's kind of crazy.
And if they ever do deluxes of the Absolute line, oh my gosh, I would love to have, when Martian Manhunter comes out, just in the back of the book, all of the variants.
My heart's gonna burst out of my chest, dude. Talking about Absolute Martian Manhunter Deluxe. That's how you know, like, we're just the total dorks. You know what I mean? Because that makes me more happy than almost anything. Just thinking about that.
Indeed.
Man.
I can't wait for that front, and I also can't wait to get issue number 19 of Absolute Wonder Woman, which is of course written by my friend Kelly Thompson, and Hayden Sherman still on the interiors for the art. We have seen Diana wield the sword, we have seen her warp with magic, but we have not seen her with the version or this particular part of the lasso yet. Apparently Troika, whatever that might be, whatever that might entail, whatever this darkness exudes, it is going to be introduced, at least this conceptually, for the first time in the series.
We'll talk about a series with great A covers. I mean, Hayden Sherman just destroying it. Everything Hayden Sherman does, I'm just a huge fan of. And yeah, I wish I knew. Coming into Absolute Wonder Woman, I don't have this like deep knowledge of the Wonder Woman character. So, you're talking about like the differences in the lassos and stuff like that. Like that kind of stuff, it goes over my head just a little bit. And this is just a series that I might just have to reread from the start because there's got to be stuff that I'm just missing all over the place. I'm still loving it, but I feel like I could have a deeper appreciation if I had that Wonder Woman sort of knowledge. That's one of my goals this year is to get a little bit more knowledgeable on the character. But yeah, just absolute Wonder Woman. What an incredible series so far. I will say it's so cool seeing, we still got Kelly Thompson, like you're saying, Hayden Sherman. Up top we talked about Batman and Dragotta and Snyder. It's cool that the pairs are sticking together well into, third arc, fourth arc, whatever. They still have guest artists, really incredible guest artists coming in to do stuff. But it is really cool seeing those pairs sticking together through it all. So yeah, Kelly Thompson, Hayden Sherman, just hoping they can keep it going as we head into what number is that there?
This is issue number 19.
Incredible. Issue 19. I mean, man, I can't believe it's been that long. I remember picking up issue 1 and just
I know. I remember I got issue number 1, went to class, went home, and then the next thing you know, because Kelly wanted to do, that was my first time I interviewed her, and I was like, and she was like, "Do you just want to talk to me on Wonder Woman release day so that we can talk about all the spoilers and all that?" I was like, "Are you kidding me? Why would I say no to the first?"
Yeah, right. That's awesome. Yeah,
and it feels like that was just yesterday. Time flies by too fast. But if time doesn't fly by too fast on your end, or anybody else who is watching this, here's a look at the Ben Oliver variant, and then Carmine DGN Domenico.
There you go.
Who is on Deathstroke. We also have got issue 13, Absolute Green Lantern. This time with Sid Kody on the illustrations, as Janoy Lindsay is taking a little bit of a break for this issue. We have this particular version of a character that I am familiar with only because I'm a big... I've read too much Green Lantern. This is Tomar Ree, formerly I'll just say not an ally of the Green Lantern Corps, now completely fused into something different as Joe Mullane's story moves on.
Yeah, I had ended up dropping Absolute Green Lantern. And I think we were talking about that on Omar's stream, I think, right? And yeah, just not, in my opinion, the best month-to-month reading experience. I'm sure a lot of people that are reading it, the collected editions, are having a better time with it. And yeah, I'll just personally, I'll be catching this one on DC Universe Infinite. But I do think
not sponsored, by the way.
Not sponsored, yeah. The last couple issues that they've put out, I've thought have been really stepping it up. So I'm sure Al Ewing, by this point, he's probably well into his stride, and I'm sure this will be a solid issue for sure. That are people that are still picking it up in singles.
A shout out to the people still picking up Al Ewing's run in singles, and here is a look at the variant done by Riki Yagawa. And then the last parts, or the portions of the Absolute line. We've got Flash, issue number 14. We do not have a main cover in just yet, but this is a variant cover done by Sean Isaacs, and then Hai Ning, I believe it. No, yes. I can't read. But anyways, Absolute Flash issue number 14. I still need to catch up with this in particular, but we do now have Wally and Linda trapped in a mirror dimension, perhaps with the Mirror Master for this specific issue with the way that the Solicitex has wrapped around.
One of my biggest surprises of the year was this Absolute Flash series. Like, by the end of it, I was just so in love with what Jeff Lemire was doing. No spoilers, I guess, because you haven't caught up, but he's working with some people you wouldn't think he's working with, like beyond the Gorilla Grodd stuff, what I think is excellent. That's probably been carrying the series so far. Yeah, just I don't know. I just find this Wally West character so compelling, and I'm just in for his story. You know what I mean? I think the costume, I will say, definitely grew on me. I wasn't the biggest fan of it at first, but like that cover there, I'm like all aboard, man. That's a pretty sick. It's like Wally's like confident. You know what I mean? Like he's getting more confident, and he looks great. He looks great in that costume right just there. So yeah.
The goggles remind me so much of Bartholomew Allen, aka.
Oh, okay. Yep. I got you. Yep.
Yeah.
1000%. Yep.
So I think it stuck with me because the original Impulse costume is one of my favorite costumes ever. To grace the page of the comics. I'm really glad that Nick Robles, when he designed all of this for the Flash run, That managed to stick. That little detail managed to stick.
It's a vibe, man. It's a vibe. I like the headphones. I like how he's just so like invested in listening to music all the time and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm just in love with this Wally West character. As a mama's boy too. I don't know how you are, but I'm definitely very empathetic to this Wally's situation and stuff like that. So I don't think I'll ever be dropping Absolute Flash. It's got a special place in my heart, and I ended up really loving it.
The emotional connection is strong with the Kody, is what he's essentially trying to say.
By the way, I just want to say, I love the way you split up everything. You got the absolute, you got the next level, right? So I just want to give you hats off. It's just well put together. So hats off to you.
Much appreciated. And now, with the split off now, we have the Bat family to at least just get into a little bit. We got Matt Fraction, this time joined by Ryan Sook. Ryan Sook was most recently, at least on Interiors wise, on the Black Canary Best of the Best 6-issue miniseries with Tom King that I gave to a friend for Christmas. So I hope that he enjoys it.
That was a good series. I like Ryan Sook's work. And is that Poison Ivy?
That is Poison Ivy and Alan Scott in the back. Alan Scott, Green Lantern, right behind Batman's head. I have no idea what he's doing there. Alan Scott has plenty of ties to Gotham. He's a JSA member as well. So there is a weird connection going on here. I have no idea what it's about.
Very intriguing. I do not know what we have in store in this one, but I've been loving this series. You know what I mean? So definitely one I plan on pulling for sure.
Yes, sir. And then Gilliam March, Jorge Molina. We've also got Dustin Gwen, another Jorge variant, and Poison Ivy done by David Aja, who I want to work on a DC book so bad. Please make it happen.
Okay, so the other day when we were talking in Omar's stream, right, and everybody's talking about like Jorge Jimenez on the Batman title. That's who I wanted to be on the interiors of Matt Fraction's Batman. I was hoping for either David Aja, like you're saying, get that reunion going, or Jorge Fornes. That was my pick. Because I think his variant covers he's been doing for this title as well.
Yeah.
I think they've been super solid. And yeah, I was hoping for something a little less safe for the main title Batman. Like I love Jorge Jimenez. You can't go wrong, right? But because like you're saying, we were talking about Omar's stream. I've been reading all my stuff for the Batman title ever since I started has been Jorge Jimenez. I was looking for potentially a little something different for the new #1, but there you go. Yeah.
I would have loved to kill for David Aja to come. You know what? Bat Fraction still has his email. Why can't they work on Batman again? I love Hawkeye, man. I love that Hawkeye run. We need more David Aja. We do.
David Aja, I know you're having fun doing variants, but let's get you on the interiors. I'm with Dom here, so
let's get you on the interiors. You also got Detective Comics issue 1108. Man, I feel 1108. I'll never stop looking at the action detective numbers. I'll be like, oh man, how high are we already? I can't even speak because that's how big the number is. Okay, like it's that incomprehensible. But we've got Tom Taylor, I suppose mainstays, if you will, Green Arrow and Black Canary, looking at a tombstone. Wonder what that's about. Pete Woods on interiors this time.
I ended up dropping the series and I kind of regret it, but there was just a moment last year where I think I even made some videos about it. I was pulling like 5 Batman series at the time.
That's a lot of Batman.
Between Batman Dark Patterns, Batman and Robin Year 1, the Batman and Robin title, Detective Comics, Batman main title, right? Throw in some like DC Black Label, Elseworld, whatever.
It's a lot of Batman.
There was just so much Batman that I ended up dropping Detective Comics. And yeah, I wasn't disliking it. I thought from an art perspective, it was probably more strong with Janine's art. Mikkel Janine, I think is the name.
Yeah, I think Yen is how you say it. But please let us know in the comment section how you say Mikkel's last name, please. I want to know.
It's probably Mikkel Veach or something.
Mikkel Veach. Mikkel Veach. Well, you know what? Maybe that's his new name. No. No, I feel you because this is one that I picked up the first couple of issues and then I told myself, man, it's probably be better if I read it like overall in trade. Like Tom Taylor stuff, I think tends to read better when you read it
in
all
a binge.
through.
Absolutely,
you're not hitching between because sometimes and no disrespect to Tom, sometimes the plots just drag on a little bit too much, and I'm like, could we move along, please? So I probably will be doing that instead. But cool to see. Well, it's really cool to see Dinah back somewhere after Kelly Thompson's run got pushed to the wayside.
I know you were a fan of that one as well, right? So it's just sad to see that one go. But yeah, cool that Dinah's still hanging around in the DC universe. But I mean, and Green Arrow too.
Green Arrow too. Another run that got pushed to the wayside as well. If you would have told me that Firestorm would be having an ongoing, Green Arrow wouldn't start off the year.
What world are we living in, man?
What world are we living in?
Chris Condon Montos's Green Arrow was so good, dude.
So peak. Yeah, this is where, if you want your Birds of Prey / Green Arrow fix, this is where you should be finding it. Another friend of mine, Dan Waters, on Nightwing with Dennis Cowan, issue 137. Got a highway collision on the Bloodhaven Bridge. Believe it or not, this is the first time I have actively indulged myself into a Nightwing ongoing in singles.
Ooh.
It typically doesn't happen for I've got the first couple of singles of Tom Taylor's run, and I told myself I'll just trade weight this. So that's what I told myself I'd get the Omni, and I didn't get the Omni, so I will have to reclimate myself at some point. But this is a really cool Jorge. See, when you talk about Jorge Fornes being on Batman, you see this, you're just like, you can't help yourself but think like, we gotta get him on Batman.
We got him, man. Oh, I mean, listen, when there was word that Dexter Soy was leaving the Nightwing title, I was also thinking that Jorge Fornes, I was like, maybe this is the time. We got Jorge Jimenez confirmed on the Batman title. He's been doing, 3 issues at that point. I was like, oh man, this could be the time, but they went with Dennis Cohen, Never gonna say no to Dennis Cohen, pretty legendary there. But yeah, this is just a great example. Every time I see an A cover from the series from now on where Jorge Fornes is doing it, I'm just gonna wish that he was doing some interior stuff, man.
Yeah, man.
I just think it's so sick.
I also wonder what the Batman logo is doing behind the bridge. So maybe there's.
Yeah, I guess that's the new logo. Batman logo, isn't it?
So
I don't know if is it technically like a new kind of Nightwing logo? No, that's the Batman.
Because Nightwing's logo is still on his jumpsuit.
Yeah, that's 1,000% the Batman new logo, like Jorge Jimenez's
new design. What are you?
It's like a bridge between Bloodhaven and Gotham or something.
Maybe.
Like,
Okay, Dan, you had me at the allegory that you maybe told Jorge to draw.
And mentioning Dan Waters, I mean, Dan Waters is such a G, he's just killing it. So yeah,
he doesn't write bad books. I am actively now convinced that the guy does not. He fails to miss, and that's a good thing.
While we're on this, and you were mentioning how this is your first ongoing. My first was the Tom Taylor stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was liking this Dan Waters stuff more.
Yes.
I feel like a crazy person, but how are you feeling about that?
I 100% co-sign with you. I think
nice, dude. Nice.
The drama is there. The elevation is there. I really like Dan Waters' like quips with It's never like over the top comedical, but it always makes it sense. Like he's making a really mature joke because of all the stuff that he's learned from being on the Titans and just being this separated superhero from I think that Dan has managed to separate the needed and necessary gap between what makes him stand out from Batman. And I think that's what I have been missing. I mean, it's because, like, just my opinion, I'm not a big fan of the Chuck Dixon stuff from the 2000s. I think that a lot of his it's, treading safe water. But this, to me, high-level conceptual oddities without it being without the science fiction nonsense. It's just really really good grounded high concept stuff, and I really really do appreciate Dan for bringing all that into the fray.
Yeah, agreed. And last thing I'll say about this one is just like, yeah, I just love in the kind of darker tone, like Nightwing just being that beacon of light, that beacon of hope in the kind of darkness that is Bloodhaven, versus the Tom Taylor stuff where, although I was having a good time with it, it was just not dark enough, I guess, which is kind of weird to say. But yeah, I'm just really appreciating that from Dan Waters.
Yeah. We need to have maybe a separate episode or like a different collaboration where we talk about Nightwing. I
It
think
could
that
be.
would be.
I'm not like a Nightwing expert by any means, but yeah, this Dan Water stuff and the Tom Taylor stuff. I haven't read any of that Legacy Nightwing stuff. That's one of my goals for this year, potentially getting some of the compendiums and kind of exploring that. But yeah, this current stuff from Dan Waters is so sick. This is probably a top 6 ongoing from DC right now. Like just like rough. That's kind of what my gut is saying. Like top 10 for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, indeed, cool on that front. And two books that I have fortunately, like, they are slotted at, the bottom part of the Bat Family solicitation, but we do have Catwoman issue number 86 by Grombeck and David Gianfelice. I still need to catch some of this up. It's got Black Mask with Selena at the moment, and another book that I also still need to catch up on is somebody who has told themselves I am a Cassandra Cain fan, but because of constraints, I have not been able to pick up most of the Batgirl run in the series, even though we have this really, really freaking cool Christian Ward variant on issue number 18 of Batgirl. These are both books that I still need to catch up on, but I'm very happy for. I mean, Selena versus Roman Sionis does sound pretty cool to read, and then we've got Cassandra's battle with her actual parents and all of everything else that has happened in their family. We've also got those parts of that plot rolling along as well.
This I'm with you. The Catwoman stuff, I'm definitely not as caught up on that series for sure. But the Batgirl stuff, that first arc from Tate Brombal and Miyazawa, I was speaking its praises for sure. That stuff was really good. I definitely think they did like a Shiva sort of year 1 kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think they kind of lost it a little bit there. And in the current arc, maybe even a little bit of another downgrade, I guess you could say. But at any point, Tate Brombal can kick it back up and get us back to that first arc. So definitely a series I don't plan on dropping unless it gets like really drastic. But as of right now, I still have that belief that, 2 issues down the line, Tate Brombal could bring us right back to where we were with that first arc. Just that awesome first arc was so good.
We do have trust in Tate's a really
who's on the art on this one?
This is a Things to Come variant cover by Takeshi Miyazawa.
Okay, so it's still, is Miyazawa doing the interiors for this?
It's still Miyazawa doing the interiors for 18.
That's sick. I mean, that's cool. I was a little worried that Miyazawa would be off the title. So yeah, a lot of potential in that one for sure.
Good job, DC. You guys are keeping your stock in stock. And then yeah, for the Frank Cho lovers, you guys also get another variant for Catwoman. Let's move on to some of the Justice League titles. So for anybody who's not a member of Gotham, they are still doing plenty of stuff in the Justice League portion of it, which will round out these parts of the solicitations. Let's quickly go over Superman. I have no... Again, like, if you would have told me that a Superman book at some point in the future would be focused on Superboy Prime, a person who pretty much messed up everybody's day during the pages of Infinite Crisis, I would have told you there's no shot in planet Earth that they would do that. But here we are with a book that doesn't have Clark Kent in it, with a version of a character that is known for ruthlessly murdering innocent people. And here we are, all drawn by Dan Mora as well, who doesn't sleep. He still does not sleep. I don't know how, but this is where we're leading to.
That Dan Mora bit, that's like a whole other can of worms. That could be a whole episode on its own, just talking about Dan Mora and how that guy's output is just insane. But yeah, man, I'm just continuing to love the Superman stuff. For me, it's kind of in a nebulous space right now of where they're going with the story, because it's still that DCKO. Like, we'll have to see. Like, I don't know how to resolve and kind of lead into this, like Superman being gone or whatever. I'm not sure exactly right now how that's gonna shake out, but I personally am having fun with this Superboy Prime sort of reintroduction. It's obvious that Josh Williamson is just having so much fun on the Superman title. Like, it just really comes across the page from the first arc. I mean, just, like the stuff with Jamal Campbell we were talking about earlier, just a ton of fun being my first ever Superman title. And yeah, just continuing it with the Superboy Prime. I don't know how that's all gonna work, but I'm here for the ride. And yeah.
I'm here for the ride as well, and if anybody else is, I know that you will enjoy it too. If you like Infinite Crisis, you will like this run of Superman. If you are looking for a really, really cool air to get your toes into Superman, maybe you've never read the character before, and you want fresh and new beats for status quo, like, for example, who the editor-in-chief is at the Daily Planet right now, look no further than Williamson's Superman.
Yeah, the changes to the status quo, like you said, has been great, and it's just been, like new villains that I think are kind of cool and smart. Changes to the Lex Luthor of it all. I think the tie-ins to all the crossover stuff have actually been pretty solid as far as crossovers, mandatory DC crossovers go. I think it's all been real solid. So yeah.
So check out Superman, and also part of the not Superman line, if you will, because now we have John Kent continuing on. Yes, if you are a big fan of Super Sons, if you are a fan of that 2016 to 18 era of Superman, John Kent is in some form, way, or shape, if you want to call it, back. And there is a reason to that I do not know. But here we are with Dan Slott, Lucas Mayer continuing on with the illustrations. I always love seeing his name on pieces of the art. I mean, you can't say no to that. I really, really do enjoy Lucas Mayer's art. But we do have John Kent back in the fold. And I know for Super Sons fans, it means a lot.
Yeah, just question marks on this one. I have no idea kind of how this all comes about. I did end up dropping Superman Unlimited after the first arc. Same kind of thing. I think at the time I was just pulling so much from DC, and it just, unfortunately, just got the axe. Not bad by any means. I guess I was kind of hoping that it would spread across the DC universe a little more. Like it, you're putting such an emphasis on Kryptonite. I think I've only seen like one series. I think it was Nightwing, really, that kind of, had the fallout of Kryptonite being more prevalent. Like I've really kind of seen that rarely being used, and so yeah, I ended up dropping Superman Unlimited. But interesting here. Be interesting when I catch it on DC Universe, the app for sure. I don't know if I'll be pulling this one personally, but.
Yeah, so if you're a Super Sons fan, though, you should absolutely put it at the front of your polls there in throughout. Continuing on with the Superman part and instance, we do have Sophie Campbell, Supergirl, continuing on between the Science Council and Kandor. I actually pulled the first issue, or the first arc of this, because Artgerm had, because I'm such an idiot for Artgerm covers and variants. He did all of the variants for the first 6 issues. He also designed the brand new outfit for Linda, and now we have the Rebel leader Black Flame and back into the fray. I will probably catch up on this via the Unlimited app. Again, not sponsored, but it's something that I will probably have to keep my eye on for, because I do like Sophie Campbell as a creator. Really liked her stuff on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I liked the first arc enough not to continue to keep on pulling again with the stringent wallets, but I am still happy that she is doing the title herself.
Absolutely, yeah. Just congrats to Sophie Campbell. I mean, 12 issues is nothing to sneeze at in this kind of day and age. There's a universe where stuff like this just gets canceled at 6, and it's like, okay, cool, you got enough for a trade, and we'll see you later. But to keep it going, following up the success of the soon to be released Supergirl movie, I'm sure that'll be really successful. And Sophie Campbell just killing it over there.
He is indeed. And also, not to digress on the Sophie Campbell bits, but Mark Waid has got obviously two big books, since it feels like the Wade always has up his front sleeve. The first of which is the continuing of the Action Comics run with Mary Marvel, Booster Gold, and Martian Manhunter in joining the. I mean, you're not gonna like. I have a friend who's a super big Booster Gold fan, and I need to tell him that this exists. It will be. I have no idea what those three are doing there, to be honest with you, but I'm really happy that they're showing up. Martian Manhunter is my favorite Justice Leaguer. And the Time Man, Booster Gold, man from many, many centuries, is like, it feels weird whenever he joins something and Blue Beetle isn't there, because I always just associate.
I got you. Right.
This is a very weird trio, but this is a trio I will still invite happily to the title.
Yeah, I mean that Same kind of thing. I dropped this Action Comics run when they're doing their Superman Superstars thing. I kind of regret not picking it back up when Mark Waid and Skylar Partridge joined the title because the Superboy stuff, it just seems like a ton of fun. I don't know. I haven't caught it even on the app or whatever. It's still been on my list to go back to and kind of visit. But yeah, maybe kicking myself for not keeping this one going. It just seems like Mark Waid's just having a ton of fun with the Superboy era. So
He is
yeah.
indeed. And I'm also certain that he is having too much fun with Justice League Unlimited as well. Clayton Henry is
Yep.
going to be filling in for this issue for Dan Mora. But still, I'm pretty impressed that Dan Mora was
Clayton
able to
Henry's
do all
got
the
some good stuff.
yeah,
So I'm not mad at that at all.
DCKO bits. And yes, I mean, who doesn't love King Shark and Harley Quinn getting into an entanglement with Bruce Wayne and plenty of cameras behind the shots and action scenes?
I do hope with the Justice League Unlimited, after the fallout of DCKO, I do hope that they get back to that first arc. Because I do think that's where the series was at its peak. You kind of immediately throw it into, I don't know, We Are
We are yesterday.
Yesterday, like all that. It's like, okay, I guess so. But yeah, if they get back to that first arc, I really do think we're in for a treat. And yeah, another series that Mark Waid is having a ton of fun with. You can just immediately tell that
In
that comes right through the page for sure.
Indeed. I also want to bring it to the other Batman, or sorry, the other title that he's working on with Dan
There you
Mora
go.
now back, at least for this particular issue. We hit 50. We never hit 50 on books anymore. I don't know if
Yeah.
you noticed that, but congratulations on a very well done job to get this title to 50 with a Weird Al Yankovic cameo. I typically don't have weird reactions for these type of things, but Dan Moore's been doing plenty of these weird covers for the title. And that being said, happy 50, happy 50 to Batman,
Yeah,
Superman
just
World's Finest.
congrats. I another series that I ended up dropping, I think. I can't remember where. I think it was when Dan Mora initially left the title. I think that's where it was for me. I was like, okay, at this point I got so much
I think that was
so
issue
much DC
27
stuff
where
that
it
it did get
dropped.
the axe.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think so, uh but yeah, I mean just yeah, congrats to 50. It's just a super fun series. It just wasn't one that I'm like I need to have it in the single issue format. But yeah, I mean congrats to Mark Waid. It's just awesome stuff. 50 issues of pretty fun Batman Superman stuff.
Indeed. I actually want to bring this last portion of the bit as we have Ryan North, who is now on Flash. Ryan North, the man over at Fantastic Four, a book that everybody is loving, and a book that I have only read like 10 issues of because I slack, unfortunately, on some of my readings. But Ryan North is going to be taking over the book from Cy Spurrier with Gavin Guidry in as the illustrator here, as we take hold of Wally's future adventures with a creator who is very familiar with the family bits and even the individual bits as well. I have no idea what to expect because he's done the Crypto series for DC, but he hasn't written much else besides that, at least on that front. So
Right.
it's going to be interesting to see how he takes up the first actual big flagship bookie that he's done or he will be doing over at DC.
Yeah, I'm greatly anticipating Ryan North's and Gavin's time on the title. I think we're really in for a treat. Someone who just has his finger on the pulse of great sci-fi writing, great family stuff, like you're saying. I mean, that's like one of my favorite parts of the Fantastic Four series over there is just how he was able to balance the family zaniness with the sci-fi stuff, and that's really important for a modern day Flash series. It was something that maybe I was a little lacking in the Cy Spurrier stuff. I ended up dropping that. Not my favorite take on the Flash. I mean, following Jeremy Adams is tough because that run was a total blast all the way throughout. I really loved that being my first ever Flash run. And I maybe with the Cy Spurrier stuff, like it was maybe the art that I wasn't the biggest fan of, to be honest. But everything that we've seen, all the previews for this one from Gavin, it just looks sick. And Ryan North, that's some big time stuff. We don't know if Ryan North will be doing more DC stuff or if he'll be doing the kind of balancing act that we see some creators do. But just his time on the Flash, I'm sure it's going to be an all-time great when everything's said and done.
I completely agree on the forefront of the optimism on the front for Ryan North, because like if your last name is Ryan North, you have to go upwards, right?
It's true. Only up from there. Yeah,
I think that's the way we're gonna look at it from that viewpoint.
If you haven't yet, check out our website, comicreleases.com, my and Webhead's love letter to comics, a hotspot where you can finally figure out what's coming out, when, from what place. Our unique upcoming website tracker in the Collected Editions tab makes sure that you're on top of every single collected edition coming out on the market, with release date updates to the minute, from the tiniest graphic novels to the giant Generator Deluxe hardcovers as large as an absolute. Our unique spreadsheet not only gives out the most accurate information out there, but our format also filters ensure that you can find your books as quickly as possible. The tracker also gives out links to domestic and international retailers so that you can purchase your comic books at the snap of a finger. We are also proud to host monthly solicitations as per given by the publishers that generously send us information to give to you all. From the Ultimate Universe to the creator-loved Oceans and Universes, we specialize in giving you the most readable format of solicitations without any of the annoying advertisements. If you also donate to our Patreon at just $2 a month, which is less than a coffee at Starbucks, you will receive access to a special watch list dedicated to individually tracking items that are on your wish list, past or present. Place in your tracking number and make sure that these books also not only come in safe, you can even put in special comments on these as well. On top of that, your name will also show up at the end of every single Dom of X video creates as a huge thank you. That is comicreleases.com. For more information, check this out down in the description. If you also want to contact me or Webhead, check the contact forms down in the description, or email me down in the description.
But Kody, thank you so much for joining me on these solicitation escapades. As we said, a month. Let's see how the views roll in. But this is something that I want to continue on doing. Is just particularly on the front of, well, I read these single issues and I need somebody to bounce off of, and the perfect person, I think, in charge of that hold. And I am very, very glad that you were able to take time to join me on this.
Yeah, just an absolute blast, Dom. Always talking with you, and yeah, just excited to keep this going into 2026 and well beyond in 2027, quite possibly, right? So a lot of cool stuff's coming. It's a great time to be a DC fan, and hopefully Dom and I sort of ginned up some excitement from you guys, the audience, for the future of DC. A lot of crazy stuff coming. So yeah,
indeed. Let us know in the comment section if you are also excited for some of these books. Please stay safe, everybody, and have a wonderful day wherever you are.